This is the Pilot Podcast with Kyle Hartley and Mark Joseph.
Very warm welcome to everyone joining us for the first episode of the Pilot Podcast. I'm your host, Kyle Hartley. I'm joined by a very good friend of mine, Mark Joseph.
Hi everyone, I am the co-host of the Pilot Podcast.
So yeah, thank you for joining us here today. It's a very big time for us. This podcast has been in talks for a long time now. The whole point of this podcast, we want to create a weekly aviation podcast which interviews university students in the aviation cohort at Griffith University. We also want to talk to industry leaders such as pilots, CEOs, anyone we can get our hands on really that can provide benefit to you guys being aviation enthusiasts. There will be audio content each week. The current plan now is that each fortnight there'll be a fortnightly recap with Mark and I, where we kind of wrap up what uni was doing and chop up uni for the last 14 days. That can be assignments, what our lifestyle's like, just some updates, a few stories here and there, whatever else. And then on every other week, it will be a one-on-one interview with a pilot, a CEO, people who come into uni and do talks through a thing called Mates, which we have at uni. So if you want to go into a little bit more on what Mates does with Griffith.
So Mates is a program that's part of the aviation degree that's offered at Griffith. And it's basically stands for mentoring aviators through educational support. And the Mates program is designed to get in some people from the industry. And so whether they're like Qantas captains, recruitment teams, aviation Australia CEOs, or anyone like that that's in the aviation industry, we kind of get them in a weekly basis on a Wednesday. And they just have a chat to us about their career and what they do and their lifestyle and stuff like that. And it's really informative and very handy, isn't it?
Yeah.
We get a lot out of it.
Yeah, I guess, I mean, the big thing for us is that we attended each week at uni. And as soon as we kind of started it, it presented itself as a very big opportunity for students. So Griffith is the only university that I know of that does it this well. It is a really good thing they offer.
And it's the only course that actually has this sort of program
embedded
into it.
The aviation course is really impressive how they've geared that together for us.
Yeah.
And I guess Mark and I looked at that, seeing it as a big opportunity for people who want more information about different things, whether it's, the lifestyle of a pilot, career pathways, just different perspectives, really. And the Mates course can really offer that, and it was only presented in front of about 100 students. So for anyone else out there who likes aviation, wants to have a career in aviation, this is the podcast for you.
Yeah.
So looking forward, we are going to come on and just give you everything that we get from uni. All of these industry leaders. We had a big one for us was the inaugural flight from Perth to London. The captain of that flight came in.
Yeah, that was pretty cool, that one.
Yeah. Jeff Foote, I believe.
Jeff, yeah.
Great talk, really interesting. His son came in as well.
Yeah, it was a father-son kind of thing.
Really impressive talk.
Pretty...
And like that kind of talk, it's a shame to only give it to 100 people. So
we want to extend that. So
exactly.
We'll definitely be interviewing the speakers that do come on the Mate session.
Yeah.
And we'll get a deeper insight into their lives and what they do and stuff. We might ask them some fun questions as well.
Well, we're also to bring people on outside of Mates. It's not just Mates. We have a few people lined up who didn't come to the Mates program, but they've been pretty big in our lives.
And the aviation industry.
Yeah, influencers. Yeah, really big people in the space. So we'll branch out from Griffith, but we'll also use the contacts that they have a lot. So we will be using social media a lot to connect with you guys and get your feedback on the episodes. And if you guys want to hear anything, we'll announce who's coming on. And if you want any specific questions, please do hit us up. Our main ones would be Twitter and Instagram. Yeah. You can reach us at thepilot_pod, POD. So I guess what we can do now is, now that everyone knows what's going on in the future.
And they know about Mates and stuff.
Yep.
And also I want to touch on, it's heavily supported by Guy Lochman, who is the head of aviation discipline. Yeah.
I guess now we could just briefly touch on the ambitions of where we want this to go. So for me, a major reason as to why I wanted to do this was because looking back when I was 12 years old and I wanted to be a pilot. I wasn't sure on which way to go because there were different people telling me different things. Go to the Air Force, go to flight school, go to uni and then flight school. There's just such a range of ways like you can go into the airlines.
There are a whole lot of paths and you just got to find the right one.
Mark and I chose uni and then to go to flight school at Bass Air at Archerfield. But I guess this podcast will bring you a lot of perspectives and you can understand different viewpoints and get a real feel for what's going on. Because looking back when I was younger, I had zero contacts. I knew no one in the industry and I felt like no one would take me seriously at 12 years old.
And there wasn't much out there that you could go off.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And props to technology because now we're here and we can give it to you guys through YouTube. We're on YouTube, the Pilot Podcast.
That's the video format.
The video format, and then the audio format for our listeners out there. We're across all podcasting platforms, so find us there.
And there also will be kind of like behind the scenes and stuff like that on the YouTube channel.
Yeah.
So if you want kind of a deeper insight on how we kind of do this all and what it all looks like behind the mics, you can head over to YouTube and check it out there.
You'll also get to know us a little bit more personally and get to meet who comes on a bit more personally without the questions and everything else involved, which will be a nice little touch to it. And there'll also be the podcast videos on there. I guess we should jump straight into things and do a quick little recap on what Uni's doing right now.
Yeah, let's do it.
Over the past 14 days, it's been assessment time pretty much. We're at that time of the trimester
so the sad, depressing time.
Yeah, that we're going through quizzes, assignments, all courses are throwing everything at us.
Pretty rough, isn't it?
Yes. Yeah, I'm currently doing 4 courses and currently I've got assignments due for aviation medicine, human factors, atmospheric science, airways, operations and design.
Yeah, that's the one.
And international aviation. Once Mark and I graduate speaking aviation here, we'll graduate with a Bachelor of Aviation. And then we will go through to Bass Air at Archerfield and get our graduate diploma in flight management.
And usually they run for about 15 months or so.
Correct.
That program. Yeah.
So that will give us our licenses. And at that point, we can try and seal some cadetships with QantasLink, Virgin, whoever's out there, or we can go our own way and try and find a job there. Yeah. So that's the current plan.
That's one option you can
one option.
Yeah.
That is one option.
But there's a whole lot of different options. You can just graduate from school and go straight into flight school and do it that way, maybe get an instructor rating and get your hours up and then start applying at airlines. But yeah, there's a whole different options out there.
I guess one reason for me is that I kind of always wanted to have the uni lifestyle. There was just something that attracted that, and the aviation course is still very new.
It is a lot better than school, isn't it?
It is a lot better than school. One great thing about going to uni is that everyone around you all loves aviation. Instead of being the kid at school who just likes planes. I mean, you're surrounded by tens or hundreds of people who have the exact same passion as you, which really drives you to what you want to get.
And it's kind of makes you kind of be a bit more competitive.
Yeah,
and like,
absolutely.
I want to be a better pilot than you.
The thing is that these cadetships take a limited number.
Yeah.
So you have to be good at what you're doing.
Yeah.
To say the least.
It's very competitive out there. And
yes.
Like, although there is a pilot shortage at the moment and heaps of companies are wanting lots of pilots, it's still not easy to get into, but it certainly is easier nowadays than what it was in the back old days.
Yeah, especially the contacts that we're getting through Griffith. It's a great thing.
Yeah.
Because in a lot of industries, it's about who you know.
Yeah, exactly.
And with Griffith, a lot of people. You'll start forgetting names. If you want to meet someone and they don't come in, I'm sure they can work it out for you and they can get you connections. I mean, you can't even list the amount of people that Griffith know. Yeah. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
So if you know them in aviation, Griffith can get them pretty much. It's just, it's amazing. That's uni right now. It's stressful. Yeah. Yes, but
especially at this time. But
when you're cramming what was a 3-year course into 2 years, of course it's going to be pretty intense. Yeah. I mean, holidays are shorter, but that's good. You get out onto the tarmac faster. So I've got 2 assignments due in the next week, and then we have exams in a few weeks in October.
Yeah.
Mid-October, early October, sorry.
Yeah.
And then we have holidays for maybe a week or 2. I'm not too sure how long that is.
I think it's like a week.
Yeah.
And then we get straight back into trimester
3. So we don't really stop.
It just keeps going.
So if you're coming into aviation, you're looking to be a pilot, and you want to go through uni, just be prepared. You won't have many holidays.
And you need to put in the effort and time.
Just be prepared to give that 2 years, 3.5 years pretty much, to your studies. Because, there can be some weeks where it's like, this is pretty laid back, I'm on top of things. But then there'll be weeks that will just hit you hard.
Yeah.
And you need to be prepared for that. Mark and I both have jobs. I know that coming into, a lot of people said that we couldn't get jobs while doing uni, but I'm finding a way around that. Yeah. And it's working for me currently.
Well, you're doing like full-time hours, aren't you?
Yeah, so I'm working around 30 hours a week. And that I'm still able to stay on top of my classes and everything else.
As well as full-time uni.
Yeah. So the way I do it is I go to work most of the days of the week and then attend, most of my lectures, the ones that I don't make, I'll watch them back at home. But it still works perfectly because anyone can say I'll watch when I get home. Yeah, well, that's what I do. It's about actually doing it. You take your education into your own hands, you do it your way. I'm sure you can make it work for you. Anyway, we have 2 stories to get through on episode 1. And that is that Cathay Pacific recently spelt their name wrong on the side of one of their Boeing 777s. Quite embarrassing for them. A bit of a surprise.
How do you manage that?
Someone got fired. Yeah, they spelt it Cathay Paciic, forgetting a very important F.
That's a pretty big error.
Yeah, I'm not sure who forgot to do the checks on that. But it's all over social media. It's quite sad for the airline. So we had that happen. And then we also had Emirates and Etihad deny reports they were merging. Yeah,
well, people have been saying that they're going to merge.
So they're 2 of the biggest airlines in the Middle East. Probably the 2 biggest airlines.
Yeah, that fly international and long haul.
Yeah, it was news to me. But I'm not surprised here that they're not. Looking forward, we have a few people coming on. We will release names on social media. Yeah. So Twitter or Instagram @thepilot_pod. Find everything there. We'll run polls, get questions from you guys, everything else. Please reach us there. We look forward to speaking to you next week, where we'll have an interview. We will be speaking with Guy. Yes, we'll be speaking with Guy. And then back after that week, just with Mark and I in the recap. So it's very Griffith right now. And then once we get everything set up, we introduce you guys to the team, what's going on. Yeah. We'll just go head first into pilots, whatever we can get.
People in talking about.
We have one very special person lined up, and he will be coming in shortly as well. So thank you guys for making it this far. We really do appreciate it. We will speak with you guys next week. Thank you for joining us.
Yeah, thanks. We'll be back next week.
All right. Catch you guys later.
Bye.